choose to walk in the spirit. It's difficult dealing with all of the ignorance. But in the Bible, it's still talking about the Bible. What is the benefit? Everything about you counterfeit. There ain't no rebuttal you can counter with. On the internet, you the master teacher. In real life, you powerless. Keep it real with you. I don't have time for this. I ride for this. My forefathers died for this. They cry for this opportunity. Presently, I possess, and right now you are the opposite. If you walk in love, you fulfill the law. Don't get involved, and you ain't giving it all. If you ever think it's cool to threaten another man's family, then you already lost. Chemtrails got aluminum, heavy metal saturate the atmosphere. Manhattan Project, time travel, Mandela effect. What happened here? GMO food processing to the whole world become obsolete. A black man who believes in Jesus got my own team taking shots at me. You trespassing on property that you don't fully understand properly. All the back and forth, that's not for me. That's for ROC and the War Machine. If we ride together, then we ride together. If we can't do it, I'd rather leave. I still stand on the word of God till the day I die and no longer breathe. We trapped inside the diaspora, nightmares of the massacre. Cold sweat, I'm below deck in the middle passage, just a passenger. Revolutionary hardcore, liberation, that's a hard job. You ain't ready, you a oddball. Keep your mouth closed like lockjaw. I learned trying to bring people together on the same page, make them separate. All the talk about reconciliation, when the time come, you hesitate. If Jesus was able to sit at the table with a bunch of sinners, you very fake. Your steps ordered by the Lord, and how it was yesterday, a big mistake. We the city sitting on the hill. Guess it all depends on how you live. Guess it all depends on how you feel, and we both know that ain't God's will. I stood on what I felt was right. I don't never question if God's real. Trapped inside this matrix, I'm about to pop the red and the blue pill.
Bless them which persecute you. Bless and curse not. Rejoice with them that do rejoice, and weep with them that weep. Be of the same mind one toward another. Mind not high things, but condescend to men of low estate. Be not wise in your own conceits. Recompense to no man evil for evil. Provide things honest in the sight of all men. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, said the Lord. Therefore, if thine enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For in so doing, thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. Romans 12:14-21.
Peace, peace, peace. What it is your brother Tyvon Sueno, a.k.a. the Orthodox Moor, a.k.a. the Seven Pillar Saracen, a.k.a. Brother Moore. Wishing y'all peace and blessings. I hope y'all have a wonderful day out there. Y'all see the title. Y'all see what it is. This is the season of secret scholarship, so it seems. And let me take this off right quick. Yeah, this is the season of secret scholarship, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? I know Boo's out there making videos. I know Dante's about to make some videos. And I got some videos of my own I'm about to make addressing this whole concept of secret scholarship and whatnot, right? And as you can see with the thumbnail, I'm pleased saying no more secret Santa scholarship, please. Please, fam. And the first story I want to break down, and the first example of secret Santa scholarship I want to break down, is the situation that happened a few months ago that I got reminded of in the past couple of days dealing with Kevin G, to where in October, I was on Bryn's panel with Sister E and Kevin G and Cherry Love and the good brother Yukonon. And a conversation about the Limba popped up. Yehukanan wanted to have a conversation with Kevin G about a so-called paper that he brought up. And Kevin G ends up citing this blog and says that the blog is authored by the person who wrote all the genetic information and coded the oracle for GEDmatch. And he made some very vast claims about that. So I'm going to play the video where he's talking about the claims, break the claims down, and then break down the whole Secret Santa scholarship aspect of this whole thing. So with that, family, I'm finna share my screen. Mute out right quick.
When it pops up.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a great feature. But okay.
And can I hit share screen?
Yeah, you can operate like
wow, this is heavy.
Oh my goodness.
I'll be learning too much too online. Wow, look at this.
Yeah. All right, cool. There we go. That's very good. However you want to zoom in on that. Now, I want to have everybody peep this out. If you notice the name of this blog is just not some old blog. This blog is from the head or the contributor of the Oracle GEDmatch that we see on gedmatch.com. This guy actually wrote all the genetic material in the database that actually belongs to that. And he's the one that coded this. In fact, I sent him an email and he emailed me back. I told him, hey, I'm finding Middle Eastern DNA in my result. What does that mean? He says, he said, it's just noise. That's not real result. That's just some noise. That's what he said. And I was like, okay. Now, I never came up to part it up because the whole DNA discussion was off the table. And at that time, people were discussing the Qs, right? So when I emailed them privately, just for my own sake, and I could share that email anytime. In fact, my wife just went shopping. So I'm able to go inside the house now and use the computer because, I'm just too loud when I speak and everything.
Somebody, wait, somebody said, yo, is that the Whisperer guy? I said,
yeah, man. Because that was 2 a.m, man. I couldn't wake up my family. That's why I whispered. I got silly. But yeah, so I did email the guy. And he told me, I asked him an extensive question about everything. And he just emailed back, oh, that's just some noise. And I'm like, dang, that's it? Like, I wrote you an extensive email, dude. I mean, the email, I'm sure the email was like 1.5 pages if you were to formatted a word or something. But anyway, if you pay attention to the paper here on the screen, I'm gonna go.
You're breaking up. Somebody says that peer review.
You're breaking up.
If you can hear me, he said he's gonna go in the house, maybe walking in.
Maybe I'm right here.
Okay.
I haven't gone in yet.
No, but you were just talking all that time because we lost you about 6 seconds.
No, we didn't hear you, bro.
Oh, okay, no problem. All right, so it says new paper on Y chromosome haplogroup T. Okay. It says there are some that's real tiny. Now, can you hear me now? Because I'm on.
We hear you, brother. We hear you.
Cool. All right, because I have it on my own phone. Okay, there are some haplogroups like R1b that garner lots of attention and public interest. Then there are others like haplogroup T that most people don't even know about. This haplogroup's fame was largely due to the fact that Thomas Jefferson belonged to it. But since at that time, T was called K2, most people have probably forgotten about that too. Second paragraph. A new paper studies this mysterious haplogroup and uncovers some structure in it. Moreover, interestingly, it joins T with the somewhat less mysterious haplogroup L that is quite common from the Caucasus through Iran to South Asia. The eternal structure of the Y chromosome phylogeny.
So hold on, stop for 1 second, and I'm not trying to build.
Phylogeny, sorry. But what's that?
No, I was gonna say stop, but do you understand why this haplogroup is from K and all this other stuff? Do you understand why they're mentioning these other haplotypes?
Right, I do, but the problem here is that this is not the hammer in the.
I know, I understand that. Listen, right? I'm trying to get you to understand because you got to understand the phylogenetic tree.
Yeah, I do understand it, bro.
So,
we talked about it. We talked about it extensively for years. I don't understand why you asked me the question now.
Yeah, but I'm just saying we got to break this stuff down for the audience too, though, brother. Because because you also got to break the stuff down.
Y'all two have had a discussion on it,
right? So. Yeah, we talked about this for years.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay, all right. No.
Yeah. So what he's trying to say here, and that's a good part to do, is that he wants the audience to understand what this means here.
Okay, go ahead. You could
now what this means is just means that formal genetic research as what they are known, because haplogroups change based on new research on the phylogenetic tree. So, for instance, if you look at I2B1, I2B1 is now known as M223, because according to its old studies of phylogenetic, it was one thing, but now they're identifying these differently because of new information that arises. So now, in the time past, it was called K2. But in the advent of new research and researching those Asian and Caucasus populations, it now has become T. So now they're talking about the significance of T here. So now, in the second paragraph, this is what it continues to say. A new paper study.
Wait, hold on. Because listen, you have mutations within mutations. Hold up, Kevin. You have mutations within mutations. So basically, haplogroup T come from it come from a subclade of K, which came from GHIJ. So these are different mutations. These are mutations within mutations. So that's why
I know that. I know.
I'm talking to the audience, bro. That's what I'm trying to do.
No, you said Kevin, didn't you?
I mean, but I'm just saying, we just letting the audience know, bro. I'm trying to, because it doesn't make no sense to start talking DNA and you're going over people's head and you're not breaking stuff down to them.
No,
bro.
I'm not going over people's head, bro. You just said Kevin,
go ahead,
so you was addressing me.
Yeah, but I'm just saying I'm talking to the chat as well.
Okay, so next time,
let him finish.
right, hold on. So next time you do that, you hooking on, which is cool. Just say, Kevin, hold on. I want to let the audience know something, and that way I know that you're talking to them.
All right.
Cool?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, that's cool. My bad.
All right. So let's go continue to read this. The second paragraph says this: a new paper studies this mysterious haplogroup and uncovers some structure within it. Sorry about that. Moreover, interestingly, it joins T with the somewhat less mysterious haplogroup L that is quite common from the Caucasus through Iran to South Asia. The internal structure of the Y chromosome of phylogeny is getting resolved. The limba evidence is also interesting. Now, here's where it gets into where they're speaking about the limba. This population was theorized. Now, I want everybody to key in on this and the purpose of this article. The article here is not talking about the subject of this article is not necessarily the limba. The subject of this article is talking about YT, but then it's going into the limba because it's talking about the evidence within that about what they're finding out based on how T was K2 and how it's not K2, but it's under K2 based on mutations. So now they're getting into the gist of limba and how that evidence has now changed based on this new understanding. So by Yehukanan's own admission is saying that this is correct as far as explaining the mutations, we must now accept this evidence about the limba now. So watch this. The limba evidence is also interesting. This population was theorized. Okay, so this is the original thought, to have Jewish origin on the basis of its processing of 6-marker Cohen model haplotype within haplogroup J. So notice it's talking about J. When it was later recognized that it was insufficient as a Jewish marker because A, it could be found on very different lineages, J1 and J2, not even J, and non-J, sorry about that. And B, it could be found on how frequencies in non-Jewish Near Eastern populations. So in other words, what they're saying here is that the frequency in the DNA that they're finding within the limba with this new study is found that this is found within neighboring populations who are non-Jewish Near Eastern populations. The case, this is quoting from the paper, the case for the Jewish origin of the limba largely crumbled. I'm gonna repeat that again. The case for the Jewish origin of the limba largely crumbled. Why? Because now with new evidence and looking at the marker types that's in the J among those people, they're finding that they're not related to any Jewish populations. They're related to non-Jewish populations in the area. Now, if I were to get a refutation from Yehukanan, which he's welcome to do, then he will have to explain why did he support the change from T under K2, but now not accepting this evidence? Because now he's crossed. He already admitted that this was a fact, but now when we face this same mirror to the limba, it doesn't pan out that the limba are actually Jews. It goes on to say, this is probably another blow to that theory, as T1b does link the limba to the Near East, but not particularly to Jews. Alternatively, modern Jews are a very restricted subset of ancient Jews, a possibility that probably needs to be entertained, although it would be difficult to test. So,
okay, so
go ahead.
Hold on. So let me see what he. Let me go.
No, you could. May I speak?
Yeah, you got the floor now.
So listen, those T1b. This is my thing. those T1B limbas have no paternal connection to the Jewish thing. Now, the limbas have different haplotypes. So we still have to look at J1 because they do have that, and they do have E1B1A. You see what I'm saying? So you cannot sit up here.
They also have E1B1B.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're trying to make, when you make that, with the statement you made yesterday, it's like you're trying to make all limba be T1B. And now you're saying,
hold on, real quick. Let's be clear, because you said E1B1A. Everyone knows that, but a lot of people don't know they also have E1B1B. They have 3 E haplogroups. They have EM40, EM35, and EM2.
That's all fine. That's all fine.
Hold on, real quick. I'm saying this. I am saying this one for the crowd, just so people are clear. My fault. But so just so people understand, like, so they have E1B1B, E1B1A, and EM40. So that's just to be clear. So even that E1B1B is also, so yeah, real like so that also is found among Semitic populations, that E1B1B. So yeah. I'm curious as to why that's not mentioned at all in the article that you're talking about. The blog that you're talking about.
Well, what the article is talking about,
it's a blog. It's not really an article.
Well, it is, because if you look at the link, the paper, it does go to this is extraction from the article. It's not you're saying that it's a blog because it's presented on the blog. That really is not a good
the source
good way of
from
saying
the blog and from a
yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's right there. The article's right there. But anyway,
you're gonna have
the fact.
So that's Kevin G in his own words breaking down what he thought about the author of the blog / article, and the fact he's making claims there. Let me run through the claims that he's making in that little short segment right there, and get into breaking down the whole secret Santa scholarship aspect of this whole thing. Let me share my screen one more time. Let me start this joint off proper. So yeah, fam, Kevin G knows a guy. So in that video clip there, Kevin G is talking about this blog. This the Anika is an anthropology blog, and this blog for April 4th, 2011, new paper on Y chromosome haplogroup T. I'm going to get into this way more on a whole later video. The good brother Yehukanan, who you heard in that video clip going back and forth with Kevin G, he got at me last night and let me know he wanted to do a long show breaking down that whole day, because that day we had a conversation there, but we also ended up having a 4-hour debate and conversation over on Sister E's channel talking about this whole Lemba, J marker, extended Kohinomoto haplotype concept. And I won't break that down. I won't break that down fully here. But me and Duke and I will be getting in on that probably sometime this weekend. But all of the relevant papers and blogs, etc., are linked down below if you're curious to see what these things say for themselves. So real quick, he claimed, I'll show this here again in a second, but he claimed that the blog itself is actually an excerpt or an extract from a paper itself. There is an abstract at the bottom of the blog that is an extract from the paper, right? The blog itself is not an abstract, or it's not an extract from the paper. The paper can be seen here. And if I don't have that link down below, I will link it down below so you can see for yourselves and read it for yourselves. Nothing about the blogger or what the blogger said in his commentary is in the actual paper itself. But going forward, Kevin G cites a blog from a secret scholar, right? Kevin G claimed the blog is authored by the lead contributor of the Oracle GEDmatch that we see on gedmatch.com. Kevin G also claims that the blog author wrote all the genetic material in the database and coded it. Kevin G claimed that the blog is an extract from a paper cited on the blog. However, the blog text of the guy cannot be found anywhere in the attached article / paper. Going forward. This is an article by Margaret O'Brien breaking down the GEDmatch DOCAD project and explains the origins of it and all that kind of stuff. and this is linked down below. And this gives a really good basic history on a lot of good things. But it breaks down this concept. The DodeCAD project on GEDmatch was one of the first admixture tools on the website. The other projects are based on the original DodeCAD software. This is important to understand, this DodeCAD software. It's important to remember that admixture projects aim to research ancient populations. You may get some insight into modern ethnicity, but it largely depends on how your heritage aligns with the DNA samples used in the analysis. Oop, went too quick. The article reviews the DodeCAD calculators and lists out the modern populations that may best align with the project. That should help you assess which, if any, of the DodeCAD calculators are useful for you. All right, further on into the article, it says this. Enter Dianikes. In 2010, a Greek blogger turned his attention to using open source tools to look at ancient ethnicity patterns. This is talking about the origin of the DodeCAD software that predates GEDmatch. Okay, the DIY or DodeCAD software that's being mentioned here predates GEDmatch. This is the programming that they use to do a lot of stuff on GEDmatch. However, they reformatted it. Now I'll break that down here in a second. Again, in 2010, a Greek blogger turned his attention to using open source tools to look at ancient ethnicity patterns. This blogger writes under the pseudonym of Dianikes Pontikos. So this isn't his real name. This is a pseudonym here, right? Dianikes felt that the big academic genome studies were overly focused on West European DNA. So he set out to study other European populations. So his main focus getting into this was to study European populations. The original DodeCAD project, Dianikes already had a blog that focused on anthropology and population migration. He put out a call for readers to send him copies of their raw DNA files from 23andMe. This was his original goal. To build samples of individuals for regions of the world, examples, Greeks, Finns, Albanians, Southern Italians, etc., currently represented in publicly available database or data sets. So he wasn't satisfied with what was out there. So he decided to make his own thing and focus heavily on getting a better readout on the European concept, because it focused too heavily on the Western Europe. Going further into the article, this is what it says about that DodeCAD. Again, it's open. This software that he developed is open source. Open source, meaning that everyone has access to it, right? Several projects quickly appeared on other anthropology blogs. So this is important to note, because Kevin G is saying that this guy coded all the genetic information on GEDmatch. And this is important to understand here. Several projects quickly appeared on other anthropology blogs. These had names like MDLP, Eurogenes, and Howardput. If those monikers sound familiar, you'll have seen them in the list of GEDmatch admixture projects. So what is that saying? That's saying that this guy did not come up with all these other projects and did not do the coding for them. He dealt with specifically the DodeCAD project in early forms of it and helped it grow, etc. Right? What you see on GEDmatch now is still his DodeCAD project, etc. However, he only dealt with DodeCAD. He did not deal with all of the oracles and all of GEDmatch and all of the projects. Other bloggers, other anthropology blogs, etc., did the same thing and made their. So he came up with his own blog about DodeCAD. He made this software, this open source software that people could run their DNA through, etc. Right? People could tinker with the thing, and an open source thing. People could tinker with it, right? And so they did, and in doing so, they made their own projects: the MDLP project, the Eurogenes project, etc. The Howard, etc. All of them. Different projects, different calculators, all that type of stuff, right? So again, to be clear, Dianikes, right, aka the guy, right? He did not create MDLP. He did not deal with the genetic information MDLP. Eurogenes, Harper, etc. Which is important to note because MDOP contains the Lemba genetic information. You cannot find the Lemba. The Lemba is not available in the DODCAD searches, in the DODCAD calculators, in the DODCAD listings of the ethnicities you can find there. But going further, but before they appeared on GEDmatch, they were run as part of talking about these other individual projects that were made by other anthropology blogs. But before they appeared on GEDmatch, they were run as part of individual blogs. This caught the eye of the renowned Nature research journal. They covered the phenomenon in late 2010 in an article titled "The Rise of the Genome Blogger." So you can go look this up there and see this whole thing being cooperated. I've mentioned that these were independent bloggers. Each tweaked the software in ways they felt produced better results. So again, each of these different bloggers who were making these different projects, they tweaked the software. Again, this is open source. So this isn't one guy making the whole thing, right? These other people tweak the software to make these other projects to help, you know what I'm saying? Some collaborated, but there was outright hostility amongst others. When you're evaluating the different projects, it's worth remembering that some creators felt that rival projects were very misleading and vice versa. That's also important to note. But going forward, how does GEDmatch fit into this? Around the same time as Diniquez had launched his new DODCAD blog, the GEDmatch website was launched by two co-founders. GEDmatch had a small team of voluntary programmers. Again, not this guy. At some point, they got interested in the open source software that Diniquez had put online for download. Again, this open source software was free for download, and anybody could tinker with it. Another blogger, Zach Ajmal, had already co-opted the software for his own project. Ajmal worked with the GEDmatch developers to create a web version of the desktop software. In other words, they produced a modified version that could run on the GEDmatch website. So they took the Diniquez's program that other people have been tinkering with, that was downloadable, and re-tinkered with the whole thing again and modified it so it could be run on the GEDmatch website. Ooh, hold on. The GEDmatch team launched a new admixture section as part of their free tools. They loaded up several projects, including a version of DODCAD. So GEDmatch retooled the program for their website and added new admixture tools to it, but included the DODCAD that Diniquez had created. The problem is they didn't provide the appropriate credit to the original developer. Diniquez was understandably annoyed when he spotted an altered version of his work on the website. They eventually switched it up and started giving him credit, etc., whatnot. That's been cleared up and whatnot. But again, to be clear, Diniquez did not code the entire thing. He dealt with the DODCAD project, which is important to note because it does not carry the Lemba genetic information. So Kevin G did not show the email from the guy or Diniquez, right? And the guy is never cited in the paper or article linked on the blog Kevin G shows. Kevin G never gives the full name of the guy, even though Diniquez Ponticos is in fact a pseudonym. Kevin G falsely stated that the guy coded all genetic material in the database. In fact, the guy was the original creator of the DODCAD project that started as a blog using a downloadable open source program developed by the guy. Kevin G falsely stated that the guy coded all genetic material in the database. In fact, other bloggers used the downloadable open source program to develop their own projects like MDOP, Eurogenes, and Harvard. Kevin G did not explain that the guy did not develop or code the MDOP project and did not code anything having to do with the Lemba, as the Lemba are not possible matches in the DODCAD project. Kevin G did not explain that GEDmatch uses a version of the guy's open source program, which GEDmatch modified for internet use. Also, that GEDmatch has since developed their own admixture tools, etc. Please, no more Secret Santa scholarship. Please, we can't have any more of it, fam. And this goes on both sides of the fence, fam. This goes for the Israelites, for the Christians, anybody bringing information to people on this type of stuff. And we gotta do so in a scholastically responsible way. And what do I mean by that, right? Hold on. Let me jump ahead right quick on something. What do I mean by that? People bringing out these secret scholars are doing so in a new way of doing confirmation bias, right? Like they're finding information that they think is credible. They're not fact checking it. They're not presenting it to be fact checked. But yet they're making new extrapolations based upon this information that no one can fact check. And they got to keep the source hidden. They got to keep the source hidden. Show you little bits and pieces, but not the whole, right? It's a new form of confirmation bias. It's a new form of confirmation bias. And so in order to keep from advancing this new form of confirmation bias, it's important that we show our work. It's important that we leave a paper trail. Shout out to people like Dante. Shout out to people like Abu. They leave paper trails, right? Abu will lace you with a paper. Dante got a whole website based upon the sources, man. You may not agree with how people use the sources or agree with how Abu or Dante assess the information, etc. But at least they're going to show you the information. Yeshua is going to show you the information. I'm going to show you the information. Anonymous is going to show you the information. We got to at least start with a simple game of show and tell, fam. A scholastic game of show and tell. It's got to start there. Otherwise, we're just doing an elaborate game of confirmation bias, and we can't let that be par for the course, fam. Not for the people coming up behind us. That's why this whole secret scholar thing got to stop right now. It's got to stop right now. This is one of the confirmation biases that Kevin G was trying to promote with this whole thing, right? Was this whole concept of the fact that the Lemba were not Jews based upon the fact that they did not carry the extended Kohen modal haplotype, right? I'm going to get into this a whole lot later, right? In that conversation I'm talking about with the Huguenot. But the point here is that we go, and me and the Huguenot will point this out in this conversation. We go in this whole loop of a dog chasing their tail at infinitum over the mere fact that we can't get a fact check on the paperwork. We can't look at the paper trail. We can't check the work. But yet the whole time we got to entertain these lofty concepts that got no footing. Head all the way in the clouds, but got no footing. Like, long story short, the paper that Kevin G cites stipulates that the Lemba actually do carry a Koheni modal haplotype based upon a 6 short tandem repeat concept, right? That goes back to 3,000 years ago. Kevin is arguing that they're not Jews based upon the fact that they don't have the extended Koheni modal haplotype, which is tested at 12 STRs. Now, this is what's important about this. Abu just the other day laced the whole community with an article from 2009 that breaks down the fact that this extended Koheni modal haplotype only goes back to roughly 1,000 years ago. So what's important about that is the one on the left could potentially go back to Jacob, right? The one on the right can't go back to Jacob. It's not possible in terms of linear time. No matter if you're a young Earth or an old Earth creationist person, it don't work out for you, fam. But Abu didn't just say so, right? He showed his work. He broke down what he wanted to say, etc. But he showed his work, and he showed the pictures of it in his post or whatnot, right? And when you go check it out, this is the paper that he sent, that he showed everybody, right? Again, showing the paper trail so you can check the work. And when you get into the paper, it breaks down exactly what Abu's saying. That the extended Kohei-Moto haplotype is supposed to go back to 1075 plus or minus 130 years ago. And that if you're dealing with something at that time range, like this paper has a beef with the mutation rates of the paper that was used to define the extended Kohei-Moto haplotype, the one based upon 12 short tandem repeats. This paper here takes large issue with the mutation rates used in that paper, and says that that the way they conducted the study to get the extended Kohei-Moto haplotype with the 12 STRs, the mutation rates that they used in the study, it messed up the time range in terms of how far back the thing goes, right? Like how far back you should be looking, right? We'll get into all that when I talk to Hugh now, because we'll go all through this paper. It's an interesting paper. And shout out to Abu, my alleged co-conspirator, for giving it to the community, and whatnot, because it's a really, really good read. Y'all should go check it out. But again, they're saying like, yeah, it makes sense that you're not going to find a lot of people who don't, or it makes sense that you'll find people who don't have this haplogroup in large amounts because it's not that old. And particularly amongst non-Jews, etc., right? But it's commenting on the fact that it goes back to a certain time period. So things like this become of interesting note when you actually show your work, when you actually give a paper trail. You can keep things in context with the paper trail. You might think you found the greatest thing since sliced bread, and you might have. But unless you're fact checking the thing, fam, I mean, it's not really fair to yourself and to the community to bring it out like it is a fact check thing, like it is fact. Like we're too old to be dealing with pontifications, and we got generations coming up underneath us who can't build factual arguments off pontifications. They need us to source the material and give them a paper trail, and they also need us to show our work so they know how we succeeded on getting to the right conclusion, and how we failed in getting in terms of how we got to the wrong conclusion. It's imperative to show our work, fam. It's imperative to show our work, fam. I mean, but the truth of the matter is, though, when you don't, and you're dealing with this secret Santa scholarship, fam, you're not only giving yourself a lump of coal, fam, you're giving the whole community a lump of coal. And for what? For confirmation bias? Because you want to try to disprove Jed match? Because you want to try to disprove the Lemma being Jews or something like that? What's the point? What's the end game? Because it's not a factual conversation, whatever it is. And that's not going to benefit nobody. So please, there's a number of different scholastic tropes we need to stop using in this whole secret scholarship thing. The one we got to stop, the first one we got to stop using is I know a guy. I don't want to hear that no more. I want to see the guy, fam. I want to see the information from the guy that you're talking about. I don't want to hear about it from you secondhand. I want to see the information you're talking about. And we all deserve that. Because you can give me some elaborate story on all kind of stuff like Kevin G gave us, right? Like this guy was the head coder encoded all the genetic material for GEDmatch. He didn't. He dealt with he made an open source program that other people could tinker with. And he dealt with the DodeCAD project, and other people made other projects with it and tinkered with his program. So did GEDmatch. Those are two completely different situations. So this, I know a guy, therefore what I'm saying has authority. No, fam. Show your work. Give us the paper trail. And don't give us the lump of coal, fam. And don't give yourself the lump of coal. Because that's what the secret scholarship stand is giving out, fam. He gives out lumps of coal, fam. That's all he gives out. That's all he gives out. So with that, fam, y'all already know what it is. I appreciate you for your time. Appreciate you for your comments. Appreciate you for your thoughts, prayers, all that. But in this new season of Secret Scholarship, let's not celebrate it. Let's not be part of that celebration, fam. Let's not be part of that celebration. I'm not trying to see no more anniversaries put on us in terms of like the Mary Catsmiths and all them kind of things on either side. Whether you're Christian, Israelite, it don't matter, fam. Like, we owe the community a better conversation than that. Like, so again, like, so me and Yehukanan spent 4 hours talking to Kevin G on Sister E's channel, right? About this whole, like, based upon that whole article. That's not an article, that's a blog. A blog. And even during the conversation, Sister E's like, man, you were able to find the dude who wrote the GEDmatch stuff? I'd love to talk to him. We all would love to talk to somebody who authored the entirety of GEDmatch and whatnot, right? It would settle a lot of conversations and whatnot we were having. But again, things are kept under wraps. We're not sharing information. We're not keeping things above board and whatnot. And if we're all vetting the information, we can find out, oh, that guy didn't write everything for GEDmatch. Okay. We could talk to that guy about DodeCAD all day. It'd be a really good thing to talk to that guy about DodeCAD, but maybe not about MDLP. Maybe we should go find the people who dealt with the MDLP, etc. You know what I'm saying? We can take logical steps when we show the work and whatnot. And we don't waste time. Like me and Yehukanan, I can't get them 4 hours back. Sister E can't get them 4 hours back. The viewers can't get them 4 hours back. None of that type of stuff. We wasted a whole lot of time based upon the fact that Kevin G knows the guy. And wouldn't even give you the full pseudonym. We're hiding pseudonyms now, fam. So again, fam, I'm just gonna keep it real, short, sweet, and simple. Please, no Secret Santa scholarship. No more. And with that, fam, I say peace and love.
I like the way this feel, yeah. Let my soul cry, yeah. Minister, we gonna speak from the heart on this one. Hey, I'm Performing lyrical funerals, no obituary. I killed your boy and brought him back to life. Pet cemetery. My anointing not based on attendance at a seminary. Scarlet witches, they attracted to the visionary. Everywhere I go, I bring the word with me, missionary. Soldier drafted in the war machine, military. Pay attention, what I'm saying to you, legendary. You got the demeanor of a front desk secretary. That mean you take the calls, but you don't make the calls. That's why you hate, cause ain't nothing fake about me at all. Now I dare you try to say that with a straight face. My delivery in tip-top great shape. I'm too advanced for you, light years, space age. No evolution for you cavemen, stone age. I'm a thoroughbred, rock solid. I came from the bottom to the top, rock climbing. I grew up in the hood, pros and cons. That's that full court pressure when the ambulance roll out the stretch. Why can't you see it's not logical? If you live diabolical. Boy, your point of view smaller than hair follicle molecule. This for all of them that follow you, smoking all of them barbecue. When I pull up, your voice on correct itself with no auto-tune. I got a whole nother level that I can enter whenever I gotta deal with the devil. I pick a whole nother method. I hear a whole lot of yapping. They wanna see my reaction. I'm really out here in the community making it happen. I don't really think they understand the dilemma. They ain't looking at the man in the mirror. Can't say it in the clearer. The plan is very simple. It's time to start playing in the temple. Before somebody come and put the can on your temple. Reaching like a baby with his hand for the nipple. The Grand Reaper coming with his hand on the circle. In the van coming with a ram with the van coming get him. I am so glad that I changed up. Made it out of where I came from. Watch for the slide and the hook of the slow ball, fastball, and that change up. That ghetto lifestyle, it changed us. Go back to visit, it ain't changed much. Only difference is now the way that my brain process information. And Satan, been after my license day one. Let me say something. Only reason that I'm still alive today because God's grace is amazing. Just another raisin in the sun. Dream deferred when things occurred. Now you getting served right on the curb like a lemonade stand. I just gave you the benediction, let the whole church say amen.